It's been less than a month since Hollywood lost one of its most beloved sons. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the actor who grew up on our screens, the voice of an era, the father, the friend, the icon, gone at just 54, claimed by the unforgiving waters off the coast of Costa Rica. In those first hours, the story was heartbreakingly simple: a beach outing gone wrong, a powerful rip current, and a life cut short. The headlines told us it was a tragic accident, and for a moment, the world grieved together. But grief has a way of uncovering shadows. And soon, whispers began to weave their way through the quiet morning, whispers that this wasn't just a tragedy, but the opening chapter in one of the most shocking celebrity mysteries of the year. Because behind the condolences and memorial posts, rumors began to swirl about a secret worth nearly $200 million, and a revelation that would shake Malcolm-Jamal Warner's legacy to its core. Not long after the news of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing broke, the internet began buzzing with a detail so staggering, it shifted the entire conversation. According to multiple online sources, Warner had quietly taken out a life insurance policy valued at nearly $200 million. It wasn't public knowledge. In fact, even many of his closest friends in the industry were reportedly unaware. The number was so large, so unusual, that it immediately raised eyebrows. Why would an actor, even one with decades of steady work, hold a policy that rivaled the fortunes of entire Hollywood studios? Who was set to benefit from it? And, perhaps most importantly, why was this never spoken of while he was alive? That's when the whispers turned darker. Social media sleuths claimed the payout had already been processed, and that it may have landed in the hands of individuals uncomfortably close to the events in Costa Rica. Whether those claims were true or not didn't matter. The mere suggestion was enough to plant a seed of doubt, one that was about to grow into something far bigger than anyone expected. Because just as speculation reached its peak, a Hollywood name with her own spotlight stepped forward, and changed the story entirely. Just when it seemed like the rumors couldn't get any wilder, Hollywood was blindsided by a revelation no one saw coming. Tracee Ellis Ross, award-winning actress, red carpet icon, and one of the most recognizable faces in entertainment, broke her silence with a social media post that sent shockwaves through every corner of the industry. On her verified account, she shared two images that would change the conversation overnight: a marriage certificate and a wedding photo. In the caption, she made no attempt to hint or tease, she stated it plainly. "I am also a widow. I also lost my husband." The post hit like a thunderclap. Within minutes, the internet erupted. Fans who thought they knew every detail of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's personal life were floored. Entertainment outlets scrambled to verify the documents. Comment sections became a battlefield, some praising her bravery, others questioning the timing. Because if Tracee was telling the truth, this meant Malcolm-Jamal Warner hadn't just left behind one grieving wife, but two. And if that was the case, the battle over his legacy, and the rumored $200 million payout, had just become far more complicated. And Tracee Ellis Ross was only getting started. Tracee Ellis Ross claimed the marriage wasn't a whirlwind romance or a short-lived fling, it had lasted an entire decade, completely hidden from the public eye. According to her, the secrecy was deliberate. It wasn't about shame. It wasn't about scandal. It was about protection, keeping a part of their lives untouched by the relentless glare of Hollywood. She said they celebrated anniversaries quietly, exchanged gifts far from flashing cameras, and treasured the fact that this one piece of their world belonged only to them. But that secrecy came with consequences. Friends who had worked alongside them for years said they were stunned. Colleagues who thought they knew Warner well admitted they'd never even suspected. Even members of his own family, people who had been at his side through milestones and heartbreaks, claimed they were hearing this for the very first time. If this was true, it meant Malcolm-Jamal Warner had successfully kept one of the biggest personal secrets in celebrity history. And it left the public wondering, if something this monumental had been hidden for 10 years, what else about his life had never seen the light of day? But Tracee's story wasn't just about love or secrecy. Because with her revelation came another claim, one that would transform this from a surprising confession into a high-stakes financial war. The marriage reveal alone could have dominated headlines for weeks, but Tracee Ellis Ross wasn't done. According to insiders, she had already instructed her legal team to begin pursuing what she believed was rightfully hers, half of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's rumored $200 million life insurance payout. Her reasoning was simple: if she was his lawful spouse, she was entitled to $100 million. Tracee allegedly told friends, "This isn't about taking from his family. This is about what he left for me. He wanted me taken care of." She framed it as justice, not greed, a way of honoring what she claimed was their private commitment to one another. But the timing of her move lit a fire online. Supporters argued that if the marriage certificate was real, her claim was legally valid. Critics accused her of waiting until the moment of maximum attention, after rumors of the payout had already gone viral, to step forward. Legal experts chimed in quickly, explaining that secret marriage claims are notoriously difficult to prove. Tracee would need more than a certificate and a photo. She'd have to confirm the marriage's legal standing, her status as a beneficiary, and whether any payout had already been made. And if the money had already changed hands, the fight could drag into a long, expensive court battle. But before any courtroom could weigh in, another storm was brewing, and this one was coming from inside the Warner family itself. If Tracee Ellis Ross expected her revelation to be met with quiet acceptance, she was mistaken. Within hours of her post going viral, whispers from inside the Warner household began to surface, and they were anything but supportive. Sources close to the family claimed that Malcolm-Jamal Warner's mother was furious and blindsided, allegedly telling friends she had never heard a single word about a marriage to Tracee in all the years she knew her son. One insider described her reaction bluntly: "She feels like this is an ambush, like Tracee waited until Malcolm couldn't speak for himself to rewrite the story." Warner's daughter has remained silent in public, but those close to her say she's deeply conflicted. On one hand, she wants answers. On the other, she feels an obligation to protect her father's legacy from what she fears could become a media circus. Online, the family's grief became fuel for a growing public war. Supporters of the Warners accused Tracee of chasing money, while her defenders argued she was being unfairly vilified for telling her truth. The feud had spilled far beyond private phone calls. It was now raging across Instagram comment sections, Twitter threads, and TikTok videos dissecting every word, every image, every motive. And as emotions reached a boiling point, the ripple effect of Tracee's claim was about to spill into an even more dangerous arena, one where lawyers, investigators, and millions of dollars were now in play. Up until now, the official narrative in Costa Rica was straightforward: Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death was a tragic drowning, the result of powerful rip currents. But Tracee Ellis Ross's marriage claim, combined with the whispers of a $200 million life insurance policy, forced the story into an entirely new light. Insiders say that, behind the scenes, investigators in both the U.S. and Costa Rica began quietly revisiting certain details. If Warner's marital status had been misrepresented on official paperwork, it could shake the foundation of the insurance claim, possibly freezing or even reversing any payout. Insurance companies don't gamble when hundreds of millions are at stake. Lawyers would likely examine every signature, every date, and every clause in that policy. And if the money had already been distributed, as some online rumors insist, that could trigger a legal tug-of-war unlike anything the Warner family had prepared for. Even more striking? If Tracee's account of their life together is true, she could become a pivotal figure in any renewed investigation. Her testimony about Warner's state of mind, his relationships, and any private tensions could either reinforce the accident narrative or completely dismantle it. But while legal teams were quietly strategizing, another battlefront was exploding out in the open, one that didn't require courtrooms or contracts, just hashtags and endless scrolling. If the legal fight was brewing in private, the war online was already at full blast. Within minutes of Tracee Ellis Ross's revelation, hashtags like #SecondWife, #JusticeForTracee, and #MalcolmTruth were trending across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Supporters flooded her pages with messages of solidarity, praising her for standing in her truth, and insisting she had every right to be recognized if her marriage was legitimate. But the backlash was equally fierce. Critics accused her of clout chasing, questioning why she had stayed silent for a decade if her love for Warner was so deep. Others alleged she had timed her announcement to land when emotions, and talk of the massive insurance payout, were at their peak. Fan forums turned into investigative hubs, with users dissecting the marriage certificate she posted. Some compared handwriting samples. Others zoomed in on stamps, seals, and dates, debating whether the document was authentic or cleverly fabricated. TikTok creators dramatized the secret second wife twist, racking up millions of views as they pieced together their own theories. What had begun as a private tragedy had now become a public mystery, one where every photo, post, and rumor was evidence to be debated. And as the noise grew louder, one chilling question started to echo above all the others. In just a matter of weeks, the narrative around Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing has shifted from a heartbreaking accident in Costa Rica to a tangled web of secrecy, money, and unanswered questions. A rumored $200 million life insurance policy. A second marriage hidden for a decade. A grieving family blindsided and divided. A public split between sympathy and suspicion. Every new detail has pulled the curtain back further, yet instead of offering clarity, it's only revealed more shadows. If Tracee Ellis Ross's claims are true, Warner may have pulled off one of the most astonishing private arrangements in celebrity history. If they're false, then his family is battling not only loss, but what they see as a calculated attempt to rewrite his story. For investigators, lawyers, and fans alike, the questions now run deeper than the waves that took his life. Who truly stood to benefit from his passing? How much of his world was deliberately hidden from view? And if a marriage could remain secret for 10 years, what else did Malcolm-Jamal Warner take to the grave? One thing is certain, this is no longer just a story about a man lost to the ocean. It's about the truths that surface only when the cameras are gone, and the battles that begin when the past refuses to stay buried.